We've been talking a lot recently about all the TikTok money hacks that are getting these like massive amounts of views, and you look at them and you're like, that is horrible advice.
You know, it's so interesting because my oldest, I know I keep talking about my oldest daughter. It's just because she's getting so much closer to those adults. She's going to be an adult this year, which I know at the very end of the year, her birthday is the day after Christmas. But I'm like, this calendar year, she's actually going to be an official adult. And it just freaks me out in a good way, but also in a scary way, because I'm just like, how did we get here so fast? I cannot believe it. But there's just so much I want to teach her. There's so many things that I want her to know going into adulthood, because I want her, I know she's going to make mistakes, but I want her to make the least amount of mistakes possible. And I know that, you know, she is on social media and she sees the world around her. There is so much being thrown at our kids today. There's so much noise out there when it comes to managing money. I mean, it's like, you know, how do you do your eyeshadow and your eyeliner? Well, here's also how to manage money. I mean, like, it's just everywhere, and they're always being fed all of this information on a continuous basis. And I think kids still think, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right? I mean, adults think that too, for goodness sake. If we hear it, it must be true. How do we teach our kids to really navigate through what is true and what isn't when it comes to financial responsibility?
Gosh, you highlight such a good point, because we've been talking a lot recently about all the TikTok money hacks that are getting these like massive amounts of views, and you look at them and you're like, that is horrible advice. And it's so important to realize that if you're not teaching your kids about money, somebody's going to teach them. And so parents, be willing to have these difficult conversations. They don't have to be difficult, especially if you do it early on. And that's why we created the Foundations in Personal Finance curriculum, so that it's a easier process for homeschool parents, for parents in general, just to walk their kids through money topics. Because I know even for parents, a lot of parents are overwhelmed with it themselves. So we want it to be easy in this curriculum to talk to them about budgeting, about saving, about generosity, about how to buy a car, how to open a bank account, all these things that they need to know. We've made it really easy so that it's like an easy conversation. It's not stressful. It doesn't have to be this big, scary topic about money that feels so tedious and boring and overwhelming. We've tried to liven it up and make it easy for parents to walk through with their students.
Yeah. So with the curriculum, like I said, my daughter's doing it on her own. I've watched a little bit of part of it with her, but typically, do you recommend that the parent go through it with their student? Or do you recommend that the student do this on their own? Am I doing it wrong?
This is great. It's great for the parent to go through it with their students. We've actually heard testimonials of parents winning with money after taking the curriculum. Maybe they didn't feel like they knew much about finances, and then afterwards they're reporting getting on a budget, and they're reporting actually paying off debt and doing all these incredible things. We had a story from a public school student who learned it in school. So the parent wasn't with her. She learned it in school and then went home and taught her mom how to budget. And then a year later, she'd paid off $40,000 in debt.
Wow.
So it's just powerful that, you know, this curriculum, it can change multiple lives. It's not just about, you know, the students and their lives, but parents can really get empowered through it too. And having worked on the curriculum, you know, I had so many aha moments where I was like, wow, they went really deep into that topic. And I, even after being in this field for, you know, over 10 years, learned something. So I'm like, wow, that is just so cool to be able to introduce these concepts that literally we all wish we would have known sooner in a way that's interesting and that kids actually want to pay attention to.
Yeah. Well, I love that you have the curriculum, because, you know, even though my husband and I have been through, you know, the Ramsey Finance program many years ago, I have found it difficult to teach. I mean, our kids learn by example, but it's hard to teach exactly what you're learning. And so I love that you're actually teaching her for me.
Well, and there's like the videos in it. That's huge, because parents don't want to have to necessarily like go through and process and digest all the information themselves, and then have to figure out how to like package it well and not misexplain banking topics and not misexplain credit scores and what all this stuff means. It's like we actually have videos that the students walk through, and we have auto grading tests. We tried to make it as easy as possible for y'all, so that you can walk through and actually potentially enjoy it as you go through it, so that you're not cringing and going, oh my gosh, money, scary, intimidating. We want it to feel easy and full of hope for both of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys have done a great job. It's very well done, very professional, and easy to understand, easy to just go through the program. So, I don't outsource all of our curriculum, but this is one that I'm just like, okay, here, watch the video. And then she actually fills out the answers online, which I love. And it keeps the grades and everything for me, which I love. So then I don't have to go back and figure out, like, did you actually understand this concept? I love that the program just encompasses all of that. And
well, it's nice to hear that from a parent who's actually in it. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
And we're super stoked. We have more courses coming out later this fall. We're going to have a college prep course.
Okay.
So everything we've been talking about, we're going to have it in super detail. I'm going to walk through, what are they looking for in essays? I know that like people get super overwhelmed by college and scholarship essays. So we're going to walk through exactly, how to actually tactically sit down and write an essay. We're going to walk through what financial aid means, how to find the most merit scholarships at a college. So I'm super stoked about that. I'm working on that right now. And then we have a career readiness course by Ramsey personality Ken Coleman.
Okay.
And he's been known as America's career expert. And he's going to walk students through how to get a job and do work that you actually love. So instead of just getting a job that's like to make money, how can you actually find work that you're passionate about, that you're going to want to do and be excited about throughout your life?
Yeah. So cool. Do you have a favorite part of the curriculum?
I mean, I'm biased, but I did the college chapter.
Okay.
But I just love even just the basic budgeting chapter is so cool, because it's like if students can grasp that early on, what they can do with their lives is astonishing. So I already love, just to be personal for a moment, I love with my kids, I'm already looking at calculators and thinking through, like, if I teach my kids investing early on and they actually grasp investing as soon as they graduate from college, how quickly can they be millionaires? And it's like, if kids can figure this out, if they can figure out how to budget, if they understand investing, if they understand never to even get in debt, and they graduate from college completely debt free, they get a job at 21, 22 years old and start investing 15% of their income straight away, it's crazy what they can achieve. The amount of wealth they can build by the time they're 40 and 50. It's like they're going to be millionaires by the time, they're my age. That's just incredible to think through. They could be these young people with incredible wealth, paid off houses, and peace around their finances. It's just so exciting. So that's the message I really want to get out is, this whole topic of money. I know so many adults feel a lot of shame. It feels heavy. It feels sticky, but there's also this whole other side of money where it's like, if we can teach our kids early on to win with money and to never experience the heaviness, then for them, it's going to be this source of peace, and it's going to be this fuel and this excitement where it's like their life is uphill. We can take the mistakes that we've made with money and instill great values for our kids to where they just get to build wealth. And hopefully by their 30s and 40s, they're able to do whatever they want. If God calls them on a mission field, great. If they want to be full-time pastors, awesome. They're sitting on a huge amount of savings and investments to where they can literally do whatever they want with their lives and not have to stress about finances.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.